Of time in the backyard, and I'm the center of attention at summer barbecues. In '96, I made some of the tastiest s'mores. And in '09, it was me, your backyard fire pit, that accidentally started a wildfire when a summer breeze carried one of my embers into some dry brush.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
What if I told you that a tornado was going to happen tomorrow, right where you live? That it would touch down at exactly 3:17 p.m., and I told you the exact path it would take. You would, of course, prepare. You would talk with your loved ones, and you'd make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a tornado will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you have a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Welcome to Calvin's Barbershop.
You all got to see this.
I don't even want to know what you're looking at on that phone.
Well, you should. I was learning about the dangers of high blood pressure and that we need to get ours checked regularly. High blood pressure can increase the risk of heart attack or stroke, but this text program can help keep it at a healthy range. Just text Barbershop to 97779 to sign up.
I'll get right on it as soon as I'm done with this baby panda video.
Text Barbershop to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association and the Ad Council.
It's important to plan ahead for emergencies, like the storm. When it kicked in, we had a plan. We were able to get in touch with each other in no time.
How to find each other.
The whole experience was fine.
The most frightening 10 hours of my life.
If there's one piece of advice I'd offer other moms out there, it's to stay calm and keep to the plan.
Some parents plan ahead, some don't. Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Western Reserve Radio at westernreserveradio.com on the Live 365 network and the Live 365 app.
Is that something that you've done often? Is it rewarding for you to get that one for him?
You know, none of your businesses, respectfully. There's certain things that go on among teams that I don't talk about. Whether it gets out or how it gets out is unimportant to me, and I'm not overly guarded against it. But it's just certain things as a leader that I talk to the collective about that I have zero intentions of sharing with the larger public, because it's about our collective and how we come together and how we appreciate and support one another. And, you know, I can't give you all the ingredients to the hot dog. You might not like it.
I mean, that is incredible here from Mike Tomlin. Not going to give you the ingredients to the hot dog because you won't like it, and nobody wants to know what's actually in the hot dog. You just want to eat it and put spicy mustard on it and, you know, a little sauerkraut. And, you know, the hot dog is not a sandwich. Anybody who thinks that it is absolutely insane, but I digress. Listen, Mike Tomlin is funny with the quips, and obviously, you know, his press conferences are fantastic. Here's what I wish. I just wish that Russell Wilson would go away and he would just make Justin Fields his guy and name him as the starting quarterback for the rest of the season, because I think that the Steelers game against the Chargers this weekend, and that's the A team for CBS doing the game with the great Tony Romo and the great Jim Nantz, the great Tracy Wolfson. This is going to be a signature game coming up this weekend. And listen, I think that quarterback play Going to be very difficult to navigate against the two best defenses in the National Football League. Chargers are number one in terms of average points per game, first 2 weeks of the season. Steelers number two. And I think Justin Fields has done a hell of a job. He's completing 70% of his passes. And you look at Justin Fields, he has only thrown one touchdown, but he hasn't turned the football over. He has not lost a fumble. He has not thrown an interception. So you look at Justin Fields and you have to have great confidence if you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. I just wish that Tomlin would instill even more confidence by going to his press conference and naming Justin Fields a starter. Enough is enough is enough, because this is one of those games where you gotta let it rip a little bit and not worry about, okay, if I make a mistake, is the crowd going to boo? Are they going to let Russ cook? Are they going to chant for Russell Wilson? So, that really bothers me from a Pittsburgh perspective. And, Justin Herbert on the flip side, he's got an ankle. He didn't practice today. Now, it doesn't sound like it's a big deal. Tomorrow's practice, to me, that's something to zero in on. Remember, week one, Chargers got dinged a little bit for having some fun and games with Herbert and obviously the injury report. So this certainly is a pretty significant nugget, because the backup quarterback for the Chargers, Easton Stick. Yeah, it's a real name. I mean, it sounds like a bat that I used in Little League, the Easton Stick. But, you cannot ultimately, at the end of the day, beat the Steelers with Easton Stick at the quarterback position. That's not an option. Justin Herbert is a major advantage when you look at compare and contrast to Justin Fields. And I loved how Quentin Johnson played at the wide receiver position, the former first-round pick who had a miserable rookie season. Talked to him in Vegas before the Super Bowl this past February. He said he was going to have a bounce-back year. He learned from it. Excited for Harbaugh to be the coach and had a couple touchdowns. I don't want to hear that was Carolina. That was a big deal for someone like Quentin Johnson. I think that you take a look at Ladd McConkey. There's more depth and talent when you look at the offensive line with Joe Alt, when you look at the depth chart at wide receiver, the ability to run the football with J.K. Dobbins. I think the Chargers, simply put, are better than the Pittsburgh Steelers. And assuming Justin Herbert is healthy, I think you are going to see the LA Chargers this weekend go into Pittsburgh, win the game. They stayed on the East Coast after facing Carolina, so you don't have to worry about the west to east flight. I think that you're going to see the Chargers money line take care of business coming up on Sunday. How about Adrian Wojnarowski, the outstanding, legendary NBA insider, calling it a career today? The ultimate Woj bomb from our good friend Adrian Wojnarowski. I've known Woj for a very long time, as he covered the then New Jersey Nets for the Bergen Record, and he used to come on overnight shows of mine when I was starting at WFAN in New York in the early 2000s, when the Nets were ultimately going to the NBA Finals back in the day. And Woj is a great reporter, greatest of all time, works tirelessly. And, it's a really rough life being an insider like that. Always have to be on. Age 55, he's calling it a career. He's going to be the general manager of the men's basketball team at, St. Bonaventure, which is where Woj went to school. And, I love Woj. He is the best. He's a loyal person, an unbelievable guy, the creme de la creme when it comes to an insider in general. And obviously think of all those major breaking stories and Woj bombs and trades and free agency and the draft. And by the way, he's an incredible author too. The Miracle of St. Anthony is one of the great sports books ever. I encourage you to read it if you haven't yet. And I'm telling you, Adrian Wojnarowski, that was the ultimate Woj bomb. When I saw that today, I had to do a double take. Really? Woj is retiring, calling it a career? Adrian Wojnarowski? As great a reporter and as tireless a worker as you will find. Unbelievable human being. So congrats to Adrian Wojnarowski on an unbelievable career as an insider and 7 incredible years at at ESPN. And I want to finish up Make It Rain with Adam Shine, as always, with some baseball plays today. And we went 2-2 on our baseball plays last night. 3-2 if you paid attention to the Zach Wheeler prop with the strikeouts last night. And we've got some good picks for tonight. We're going to go with the Mets on the money line. We're going to take the Tigers at minus 135 and Scoobles on the bump. And Dylan Cease with the over strikeouts. And remember this here about Dylan Cease. He has 215 strikeouts this season. That's third in the majors. 5 games with 10 or more strikeouts. So cease and desist if you are the Houston Astros for tonight. Now, you look at the standings in the American League, and every single night, I mean, it's something special in terms of what can happen in Major League Baseball. And, Aaron Judge got the party started for my Yankees last night, ripped that double, and Wu is a tremendous pitcher for Seattle and really just shut down the Yankees twice already this year. So the fact that the Yankees jumped on him last night was a huge deal. And you saw Judge in the second inning driving a couple more runs, and Juan Soto was able to take care of business last night. Homer number 40, 200 in his career. That was a big deal. How about the Mariners trying to steal home on a 3-0 count with the bases loaded and Justin Turner at the plate? I mean, that's one of the most mind-numbing baseball plays, or plays in any sport, I have ever seen in my entire life. That was crazy. And when you take a look at the American League standings, I mean, the American League East is over. It's over. And I told you last night the Orioles were going to lose against Blake Snell, and Blake Snell took care of business. And Yankees are up 4 games when you look at these standings in the American League. Tigers beat the Royals, but the Twins won. So Tigers are still a game and a half out when you look at the final spot in the postseason for the wild card in the American League. I really don't want to see the Twins make the playoffs. I mean, every year they make the playoffs and they can't function. All these teams can make a run. American League is wide open. The one team that can't would be Minnesota. You look at the National League standings, and the Phillies have a 2-game lead now over the Dodgers for the home field advantage when you look at it for the National League. Zach Wheeler, Bryce Harper leading Philly to a victory over Milwaukee last night. And how about the Mets? That was the first time I said to myself, they're going to make the playoffs. The Braves blew a 5-1 lead against Cincinnati, and the Mets bludgeoned Washington. Yeah, finally you could say that the Mets will have the ability now to make the playoffs, which is amazing if you're a fan of this baseball team. Stay tuned to VSiN after Make It Rain for Follow the Money with my guy Mitch Moss and my guy Paulie Howard. 4 p.m. on today's show, they have my guy Rich Gannon and my guy Sal Palantonio. That's going to be followed by VSiN Prime Time with JVT and Matty Yeomans at 7 p.m. Then stick around for Cashing Out with my former intern. In fact, he's one of Woj's guys from St. Bonaventure, Joe Sorello. That'll be at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. That right there, that's a show. We will talk to you mañana. Make it right with Adam Shine on VSiN.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and, in rare cases, fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
This is Make It Rain with Adam Shine.
The Carolina Panthers are not serious people. When you're benching Bryce Young, the number one pick in the draft, there is no doubt that the clueless and meddlesome owner David Tepper, who is absolutely the worst, his fingerprints are all over this move. This is as awful as it gets.
Make It Rain with Adam Shine. Weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, only on VSiN.
Progressive presents the Sports Flash on Western Reserve Radio. NFL this week, the 1-1 Browns host the 0-2 Giants Sunday afternoon. The 2-0 Steelers are home against the 2-0 Chargers. Justin Fields will start. Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin.
As I sit here today, Russ is not scheduled to be a full participant in practice, and so we're ready in a plan that features Justin and his readiness. We'll follow Russ throughout the week, and if his participation gets to a level in participation and quality where we should consider him, we'll delve into that at that time.
The 1-1 Lions are on the road facing the 1-1 Cardinals. On Monday night, the 2-0 Buffalo Bills host the 0-2 Jacksonville Jaguars, while the 0-2 Bengals host the 1-1 Commanders. College football Saturday after a bye week, the number 3 Ohio State Buckeyes play host to Marshall. Bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive. That's the Sports Flash. Chuck Sanders, Western Reserve Radio.
Imagine your team always looking and feeling their best in high-performance technical workwear. Cintas can make it happen. They have garments for almost every job imaginable. And with the Cintas Workwear program, you get freshly laundered garments delivered every week for everyone on your team. Great garments without the bother of laundry. That's a real perk for employees. Find out how Cintas can boost team image and morale. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent. So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle.
Tide Free and Gentle has no dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on her skin.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle. This back-to-school season, Tide and Downy are giving back with $1.5 million in scholarships. Enter to win. No purchase necessary. US/TC 17+. End September 30th. Rules. Tide.com/scholarship/official rules.
Discount Power Sports at 778 North Main Street in Hubbard is hosting a raffle for a 125cc Pentora ATV. Tickets are $30 each, and 100 tickets are available. For each raffle, when those 100 are gone, a winner will be drawn and a new raffle will begin. Tickets can be purchased at any Hubbard home game or at 778 North Main Street or by calling 330-717-44441. $1,500 from each raffle will go toward a scholarship for the Hubbard Youth Coalition.
Youngstown, Warren, and Salem's local and national sports talk can be found on TuneIn and the Live 365 app at Western Reserve Radio, WRDB, The Scourge.
Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the sports betting network. We're live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. Loaded 3-hour program coming up, including Rich Gannon in 15 minutes. We have Sal Palantonio on the program today, Mike Palm in studio, and Doug Kazarian. We'll hit a lot of NFL with Week 3 betting numbers currently on the board. We'll look at how I love the early numbers in Week 4. We'll do that every single week. That's coming up on today's program today, Paulie, as well. And look, I mean, every day until next Sunday, until these teams either clinch in Major League Baseball or until other teams are eliminated, these are gigantic games every day. We have 2 in progress as we speak. The Cubs just took a 3-1 lead over the A's. Bottom of the third, Arizona leads Colorado 6-0. Bases loaded, Rockies only 1 out. Corbin Carroll, 2 home runs so far.
Yep.
So they have to have these games to get into the National League wild card, to make it into the playoffs. And I would ask you now, the wild card to me is by far and away the most intriguing part of what we have left, right? Like, will a team come back and win a division that's not currently in first place? The American League East was intriguing until like this week. I give up on the Baltimore Orioles.
You have to.
Another pathetic performance last night. Blake Snell is the man. who knows what his season would have looked like had some team brought him in early, actually, and had him ready for the season. I mean, my God.
Oh, my God, the Orioles could have got him at the deadline.
Oh, yeah, imagine
Why would you want to do that, though?
No, you wouldn't want to.
You know, I got all these prospects, and I'm just going to put them in my back pocket. Ridiculous that they could have had him. And again, we're trotting Kimbrel out there, who got lit up as well.
But they got rid of him.
Yeah.
Or they sent him down anyway.
Yeah, that's good. So that's 9 of the last 11 games. They've been held to 3 runs or fewer as they get shut out.
It only took 5.5 months, by the way, for Kimbrel.
Panic time. And the other thing is, you know, the big win with the Yankees, that's probably over, even though they play next week, but Baltimore can hit. Huge loss by the Padres. They only would have been 2.5 back. I can't say that's over. I'm going to say the other divisions are over, but because they play them next week, and this Dodger pitching staff, what's left of it? You know, the Padres are hot. And if they could sweep the Dodgers, they have 3 with the White Sox coming up.
Yep.
I wouldn't say that's over.
Okay, so that's the one division then.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, that was just, if you missed the game last night, what a horrific call. Profar, they said he got hit by a pitch. He's screaming. He's like, I didn't get hit by the pitch. They go to replay. Both teams are confused. Both teams were actually angered over the call. And then because of that, they put him on first base. They couldn't score runners on the corners, and that was that. They lost the game 4-3. And they, you know, that guy's had a really, really good season. Thought maybe he could drive in Machado there and tie the game up. How that wasn't even close, by the way. I watched the replay like 5 times.
Yeah.
He wasn't even close to getting hit by the pitch.
It's terrible.
So what we have coming up today, Detroit's playing at KC. Too much respect for the Royals and Reagans yesterday. This Tigers team, they don't want to lose right now. I will point this out. Skubal is on the mound. And I went back and looked at every single game that he has pitched so far this year. He has had fewer than 6 Ks, only 3 games this year. Only once since July 19th, and that's when he had 5 against the Yankees. Here's the rub with Skubal, who is more than likely going to be the American League Cy Young winner. He faced KC 3 times this year. 1 outing, very good. It was 7 innings, 1 earned, 6 Ks. The other 2 games, he combined to give up 9 earned runs. Here are his numbers lifetime in Detroit against KC. He's 2-9 overall with a 5.05 ERA. Last 2 years, he's 1-5 with a 5.88 ERA. And in Kansas City, he's 1-5 lifetime with a 6.14 ERA. God-awful numbers for the guy who's been pegged as the, you know, favorite with a bullet to win that award this year.
Yep. It's an incredible story, though. Imagine they can get the broom out here with this guy. And they beat Lugo and Reagans back-to-back, although Reagans was good. The Tigers held them in check, and it was 1-1 till they scored 2 in the top of the 10th. I mean, best team in baseball, best record-wise since the middle of August. I can't believe it. And the fact that they're in this, and the Twins got the big win, so a big one tonight, favored. All your numbers, solid numbers, but the way they're playing and won't go away, they can do this. And now if you look, they got to play Baltimore. That's a good thing now. Detroit's catching Baltimore at the right time. They close with the White Sox, probably the worst team in MLB history.
Right.
This can happen. All the pressure on the Twins. Absolutely, this can happen. You can see what's going on in Arizona. While they're up 6-2 right now, you're trying to avoid the sweep against Colorado and how bad they've been playing. And, oh, by the way, here comes Milwaukee and San Francisco and San Diego after that. So still, I think this is wide open. You can make a case for a ton of teams here to make the playoffs.
Yeah. By the way, the Royals have been like really good at not striking out against lefties the entire year. So in those 3 games, he had 6, 6, and 8. Those are solid numbers. His K-prop today is 6.5 to go over against Kansas City. That's I don't know. They've roughed him up going back now his whole career. So I would watch this too. Can they catch the Twins? Big win last night for Minnesota against the Guardians. It's Ober versus Bybee. Ober's last 4 starts, he had 2 really good games and 2 really bad games. And it was the same thing versus Cleveland this year. 1 really good start and 1 bad start. Bybee, meanwhile, on the year against Minnesota, 3 starts, 18 innings. He's allowed 3 earned runs total. That's it. 1.50 ERA, a 0.69 whip, and a 22K to walk ratio. Phenomenal in 3 games against the Twins on the season.
If it's the Twins, it's first 5 only. You can't trust this bullpen. They almost blew it yesterday.
Wow.
So if that's the way you're going to attack it, and Ober's been good, but again, Cleveland's had their number this year, 8-3 head-to-head. And the other one, what do you do with the Braves? I had them yesterday. Tough lose. They're up 5-1. They blow the game. They're 0-4 against the Reds this year.
Wow.
Also, the Malinsky special went 0-2. So this is Atlanta essentially is now 3 games behind the Mets because the Mets have the tiebreaker. They have it over Arizona, but Atlanta's running out of time here. And they still have that huge series coming up against the Mets next week, but I can't trust Atlanta at all here.
It's coming down to this, Paulie. The Braves are probably going to have to sweep the Mets at this rate.
Or Arizona comes back, yeah.
Okay,
right?
yeah. One or the other.
Yeah, because both can get it, yeah. You could have a scenario where it's both Atlanta and the Mets.
How about that? 3 runs immediately in the game yesterday.
Yeah, then they shut down. It was 5-1 early. Then they shut down. Nothing the rest of the way. So it's fantastic. As far as the 6th seed, Arizona plus 150, Mets plus 220. So are the Braves. Minnesota $1.05, Royals plus 175. Minnesota's only a game and a half behind Kansas City, and Detroit is plus 475.
Plus 475 now for the 6th seed.
It's going to be hard for the Mariners now. That was a tough loss yesterday.
Yeah, they were blasted at home.
Because you still have a tough ski. You're facing DeGrom, you're facing Scherzer, you got 2 more against the Yankees, and the Twins have the tiebreaker over you. And then I'm no hyperbole. It was the dumbest play in the history of baseball.
That's a stretch, but okay.
No way. No way.
Go ahead. Explain it then.
Robles, on a 3-0 count with the bases loaded, tries to steal home. The look on Turner's face, and I was watching the game on the Yes Network, Michael Kay on the call. He couldn't believe it. I mean, that is just, what are you thinking?
They were stunned on the broadcast.
Well, it's 3-0 count. The bases are loaded. He tries to steal home, and he doesn't make it. And Turner's sitting there looking in the dugout like, what are we doing? What in the world is going on? It's asinine. It's absurd.
That's one in the clubhouse afterwards. Every I don't know if they did this, but the teammates had to be like, yo, man, what the hell was that? Where did that come from?
Now we see the worst play you can make is to make the first or third out at third. But that's just, the bases are loaded, and it's a 3-0 count. He tries to steal home.
I'd say maybe Jambi not sliding on the Jeter throw to home. Ace had the Yankees dead and buried in that series 24 years ago?
He would have been safe, yeah.
I think he would have been safe.
Yeah, this is just, what are you thinking? You go rogue and do it on your own. It's a 3-0 count. Who knows how many runs you can score at that point?
That's all about look at me. That's not teamwork at all. That's I'm going to pound my chest and make a play on my own here.
Even if it works, I mean, would that just... It's a 3-0 count.
The risk is clearly not worth the reward there.
I've never seen it before.
I can't recall that ever happening.
So stupid.
There's also a big game, Astros-Padres. How good is this pitching matchup? Valdez takes on Cease. Now, Framber Valdez, and here's what the Astros have going for themselves this year when they make the playoffs. This guy can match up against anybody in the American League and probably have the edge, other than maybe like a Skubal. And it's close there. He's allowed 4 earned runs once since June 18th. His numbers since that date in all of Major League Baseball, tied for second in WAR with Zach Wheeler only behind Chris Sale. His ERA is 1.16, number 1 in baseball. His FIP is 1.65, 3rd overall. Ks per 9, 11th. 0 home runs allowed since that date, tied with Chris Sale, Blake Snell. WHIP 0.75. He's second. Only reason why is because his Bowden Francis kid has a WHIP of 0.40, taking a no-hitter into the ninth inning every game.
Yeah, he goes tonight too, right? I played a little 25-1. Valdez most strikeouts today. And this is a great matchup, and you have to really love their chances playoff time with this rotation. What Brown did, Brown struck out Arise last night on 3 pitches. Yeah. He hadn't struck out in 142 at-bats.
I'll give you one.
He just made one mistake to Machado. Incredible at-bat, where he thinks he walks, he's mad at the ump. The next pitch, he thinks he walks, he's mad at the ump. And the next one, he puts in the bleachers.
Yep. Hunter Brown since the All-Star break, 8-1-2 in the first 5. He was the worst pitcher in baseball for the first month plus.
Imagine Verlander's the guy that you don't want out there.
Yeah.
That's how good the staff has been.
Mm-hmm. Now,
that is a good matchup, yes.
Cease, great last start, 6 innings, 10 Ks, no earned at San Francisco.
Yeah.
He faced Houston twice, for what it's worth, twice last year, 0.73 ERA, 33% K rate, and in 5-day start. It's a 3:40 start, though. So is it daytime? Is it nighttime? Are we going to get shadows? I didn't know where to put that.
Shadows, yeah. He's 16-1, by the way. I mean, he's
for most cases.
Yeah, he'll get it done.
I don't think today qualifies as a day game, but in day games at home this year, 1.47 ERA.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll get a little sunshine there in San Diego for the beginning of that game anyway.
And can Francis do it again?
That's
how good he's been. I mean, Texas had 13 runs last night. But the story of this guy.
Do you want to bet on the Rangers, like some regression here? You can bet on 5.5 hits by Francis allowed over is like plus 120. Maybe. To do this for like more than a month straight? Come on.
It's Kerry Wood stuff. Just coming in and dominating what he's done. Incredible start to what a season. What a stretch, no doubt. Excellent stuff. But I'll tell you, the Diamondbacks needed this in the worst way. They got to have a win.
Yep.
I mean, you can't get swept by the Rockies, and the Rockies are doing a good job playing spoiler.
Right up next, we'll talk to former NFL MVP Rich Gannon. Will Mike McDaniel try to copy what Matt LaFleur and the Packers did in Week 2 without their starting quarterback? We'll ask him next here on VSiN.
Introducing Sport Trade, a premium sports betting experience that's changing sports betting forever. If you're looking to get down $10,000 or more on an NFL line at the best prices of the market, download the Sport Trade app. Minus 106 and minus 104 regularly appear on the app. Even better, the posted limits are high. They're clear, and they're for everyone. There's no difference in the lines or limits for the big players. Tired of in-play where the sportsbook has to decide whether they'll take your action? Instant in-play betting available with Sport Trade at half as much vig. Sport Trade is fanatical about finding you the best price on the biggest wagers, up to $1 million. Download the premium sports betting experience for yourself. Get the Sport Trade app. Use code VSIN. Earn 10% cash back on each wager in your first week. Terms apply. Must be 21. Gambling problem? 1-800-GAMBLER. Download the Sport Trade app.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
A new football season means a new lineup on VSiN. Start your day with sharp betting analysis on the VSiN Morning Line at 7 a.m. Eastern. Follow it up with a numbers game at 10, money moves at noon, and prop points from 2 to 3 p.m. Get pregame strategies with Make It Rain at 3 p.m. Follow the money at 4.
Located in Applewood Estates in Boardman Township, the Applewood Swim and Tennis Club offers a pleasant family environment. Choose a membership that meets your needs and enjoy a relaxing venue that includes not only swimming for the family, but also youth activities such as competitive swimming, tennis, and more. Enjoy the friendly atmosphere all summer long with the staff and members of the Applewood Swim and Tennis Club. For more information, go to applewoodswimandtennis.com or call 330-953-2833.
During the fall and winter, grilling season never ends, and Gessler Propane is your local supplier that makes sure you get your hard-earned money's worth. Why go to gas exchanges to pay higher prices for tanks not filled to capacity? Gessler Propane makes sure you're prepared for year-round grilling with 100% filled tanks at a reasonable cost. See Bob Monday through Friday, 10 to 4, and Saturday, 9 to 3 at Gessler Propane, 702 Youngstown Poland Road, Struthers, or call 330-755-9119. Gessler Propane. They got gas.
You're listening to Western Reserve Radio at westernreserveradio.com on the Live 365 network and the Live 365 app.
Teams that are 1-1 in this week, they're 26-25 straight up, but 35-15-1 ATS since 2010. That's 70%. And we have a bunch of games with that angle this week. Colts are 0-2. They're -1 at home against the 1-1 Bears. Any opinion on this game?
Yeah, I played the Colts, and I'm going to play them in the contest as well. The 0-2 angle, and one thing I don't like, Richardson only has 10 rushes this year. It was supposed to be the key to their season.
Right.
But then again, Steichen lost his mind when JT only had 12 carries in the Packer game. They only had the ball for 20 minutes in both games too, which is bizarre because, again, you can't stop the run, though. So what teams are doing against you. But it's a big game for the Bears and their offensive line. And Williams, who was 0 of 11 on passes 15 yards or longer with 2 interceptions. It's a big show-me game for the offensive line and the rushing attack because if you can't rush it against the Colts, you got a world ton of issues, and you're in a world of hurt.
So Steichen benched Jonathan Taylor near the end of that game on Sunday? Gave him 12 carries?
I don't know what he was doing.
Yeah,
he's 4th and 4. He's going for it in his own territory early in the third quarter.
The whole thing was strange.
Yeah.
Giants are 0-2 against the 1-1 Browns. Giants catching 6.5 as we speak. This one's a tough one for me.
And be careful in Survivor. Be careful. Because, yes, Cleveland won the game, but they were 2 of 14 on third down. They had 13 penalties, and Jacksonville was terrible in the red zone.
Yeah, I'm already going back and forth on that game, and also with Survivor partners.
Yes.
They definitely want the Browns. I'm like, there are other games this week.
I would agree.
Okay. Another game is Green Bay and Tennessee. Titans did reach 3. Now that's down to 2, and now former NFL MVP Rich Gannon joins us here on the Progressive Guest Line. Rich, good afternoon. Thanks for the time. I want to ask you about that game, the Packers and the Titans, and tie it into what we have with the Dolphins and the Seahawks. Will coaches across the league watch film of what other teams did maybe in previous week? And my example would be, will Mike McDaniel look at what LaFleur did with no Jordan Love, the backup there, Malik Willis, and say, we kind of got to copy what they did and just run the ball the entire game in Seattle?
Well, you got to find out. You got to find out if they have answers. And everyone watches what everybody's doing from a scheme standpoint. Obviously, you may not have the personnel to match it, but honestly, what happened in Green Bay last week was just unconscionable when you look at it from an Indianapolis perspective. How could you go in there not knowing that the Packers were going to try and run the football? I mean, it's a shocking 237 first half rushing yards. I mean, they signed Josh Jacobs in the off season and paid him a boatload of money. And then Malik Willis just walked in the door. He only threw the ball 14 times in that game. And we're not even talking about the issues that Anthony Richardson has completing a forward pass. But what a disaster last week defensively for the Colts in that first half.
Well said. What's your takeaway from the offensive play calling and the offensive output thus far that Minshew is the only quarterback to throw for 250 in both games?
You know what's amazing? It's been a gritty performance from him. I've been really impressed. I mean, they can't run the ball. They're the worst rushing team in the NFL right now. The offensive line hasn't played very well. He's been getting hit, and yet he's still hanging in there. And I just gave up 5 sacks last week on the road, down by 10 in the fourth quarter. That was not a typical performance from the Raiders to hang in there. I think the great shot of Max Crosby talking to Gardner Minshew in the first half after him throwing that interception, just telling him, hey, look, we believe in you. They're doing something special out there. But the problem is they can't sustain it. You got to be able to run the football. They're averaging 49 yards a game. It's the worst in the NFL right now. The Packers are over 200 yards a game. That's not sustainable either. But the Raiders got to find a way to run the football better. Their defense, particularly in the first half of games, has kept them in it. And Minshew's done a nice job. The young tight end Brock Bowers, guys, I'm telling you, he's going to be special.
No doubt. Can I do like the Rich Gannon special, though, where I just go, if I can't run the ball, I go with the short passing attack. Your game in 2002 on Monday Night Football, when you started 29 of 30 and completed 21 passes in a row, can I just say, here's a 6-yard pass, here's a 7-yard pass, here's a 5-yard pass with an accurate quarterback and the epic season and game you had there?
Well, you bring up a good point. I'm worried a little bit about the offensive line. They give up a sack the first play of the game. They're not playing well in the interior. They're not getting up on the second level, moving people off the ball in the running game. And Minshew's only a 6'1" quarterback. Now, he's completing 77% of his passes. He's done a nice job spreading the ball around, and he's got some weapons. I mean, you look at Devontae Adams, you look at the tight end position. I love Brock Bowers. It's Michael Mayer's a nice player. And you got your Kobe Myers. And, right now, though, I mean, it's tough to be a one-trick pony in this league and survive for very long. Eventually, you have to have some balance offensively. It can't be dead last in rushing and think that they're going to have a chance in that AFC West.
Yep, spot on. Follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Our guest, former NFL MVP Rich Gannon. He's here on the Progressive Guest Line. How about the league overall? And passing yards and touchdowns are way down compared to previous years. Are we going to see positive regression with that, or is this going to be a thing in all of 2024?
No, I think you'll see it come around. I think the fact, guys, that we don't hardly practice in the off season anymore. Nobody puts the pads on. Pad level's been really high, and protection hasn't been great early. Teams are running the ball a little bit better, particularly some of the teams we talked about, the Packers, the Chargers. here's you got Justin Herbert. You lose Keenan Allen. You lose Mike Williams. You lose Austin Eckler. Jim Harbaugh's not asleep at the wheel. He's going to help this young quarterback and this young offensive line by running the ball, and they've done a great job with J.K. Dobbins. So, to me, you have to be able to shift gears as a football team and as an offense. I think the Chargers have done that nicely. We need to see some other teams do that. But, man, I'll tell you, there's a lot of 0-2 teams out there, guys, that are sweating bullets right now. And we've got a couple in the AFC North that are shocking. You look at the Bengals and the Ravens starting 0-2.
How about if the Ravens lose that game on Sunday to the Cowboys? I mean, they're a 1-point favorite. Obviously, that can happen.
Oh, it easily could happen. Look, the Cowboys got embarrassed last week. They got gashed in the running game. Kamara has 4 touchdowns. The Saints pretty much scored in every possession until it didn't matter anymore. And I just think you look at what was most disappointing to me, guys, was how the Cowboys didn't respond last week after getting punched in the face. It kind of was reminiscent of what happened with the Packers playoff game.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of them blaming it on Mike McCarthy, tired of blaming it on the owner. How about some of the players take responsibility? The run defense was awful. And, they just could never find a way to get back into a game. How often do you see Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid get blown out at home? It just doesn't happen. Good football teams don't do that. And that's a concern early on, I think, for the Dallas Cowboys.
The story of the season has been the Saints and the job Clint Kubiak has done. I know Carr was excited in the offseason. What do you think about, can they keep this going, moving forward, and how they do against the Eagles with 91 points so far on the season?
They're a scoring machine. You mentioned Clint Kubiak. This is Derek Carr's 4th different play caller in 4 years. And I just think that they've got it going right now. You mentioned the 91 points here in the first 2 games. And, Carr, as long as you protect this guy, that's the key. They keep a clean pocket around Carr, and he can be very effective. Defense is playing well. Shahid's playing well. This is a good roster they've got down there in New Orleans. And, they were close last year. They stumbled down the stretch. But the key to it, trust me, guys, I've been around Derek Carr a long time. If you give the guy a clean pocket, he can be as effective as any quarterback in the league. He's got rare arm talent at the quarterback position.
What are your thoughts on number 1 overall pick Caleb Williams through 2 weeks?
There's concern. There's no question about it. I don't like some of the body language, some of the the fact they can't score. They're averaging 11 points a game, which is 3rd worst in the league right now. He's struggled a little bit with the accuracy. He got off to a better start in week 2. I like that, but he's been sacked. They're not protecting him very well. He got sacked 7 times against the Houston Texans. That's got to change. And, some guys have disappeared in that offense. Keenan Allen didn't play last week. You look at the rest of that group, they have a pretty good supporting cast, but the offensive line has to play well. The defense is doing their part through the first 2 weeks of the season. But, guys, not surprised to see all these rookie quarterbacks. You look at Bo Nix, you look at Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels has probably played the best of all 3 of them. But none of them have thrown a touchdown pass in the first 2 weeks of the season.
Are you buying the 2-0 Minnesota Vikings?
I am, and a big reason why is the quarterback is staying in his lane, and he's not misbehaved. That's the whole key, I think, with a quarterback like Sam Darnold. He's always had the talent, he's always had the feet, he's always had the arm ability, but it's just been the decision making that's really held him back. And so they've eliminated the mistakes. He's making good decisions. They're playing, guys. The one thing in Minnesota, they're playing well around them. The defense had 6 sacks last week and 2 takeaways. They ran the ball for 146 yards. On the season, through 2 games, they got 11 sacks, 19 quarterback hits, and 30 pressures. The defense has played really well. He's completing 72% for a guy that was a 59% completion percentage guy throughout his career for the first 6 seasons. Yeah. He's been very good against the blitz, which has been a problem.
Great stuff. Rich, we love talking to you. Thanks so much for the time today. We appreciate that.
You guys are the best. Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Former NFL MVP Rich Gannon joined us here on the Progressive Guest Line. I think there's a pretty good chance Kevin O'Connell is like a damn good football coach, especially with quarterbacks and on the offensive side of the ball. Plus the combination there, Brian Flores at DC, pretty good. Very good start with that team. We'll continue talking week 3 numbers up next. And I got to be honest, I think the NBA got a little less interesting today.
It's common knowledge
research that after age 30, our metabolism changes. We have less energy and gain weight easier. There's a way to feel better, not in years or months, but sometimes in just days.
I'm Chuck Norris. I tried everything. Working with a team of health experts, we came up with Morning Kick. Morning Kick is a revolutionary new formula that combines all my favorite supplements into one daily drink.
Morning Kick has probiotics to help you lose weight, prebiotics for digestion, superfoods for muscles and joints, and powerful anti-aging supplements. It'll help you feel youthful, energized, and helps manage stress.
I look and feel better than I have in years.
Go to roundhouseprovisions.com, use code HEALTH, or text HEALTH to 511-511 and claim 40% off. Roundhouseprovisions.com, code HEALTH.
Every purchase comes with our 90-day money-back guarantee. You could be feeling these changes within just a couple of days.
Text HEALTH to 511-511.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
VEASAN's got you covered for the start of the season with our football special. For $175, you'll get access to everything VEASAN has to offer. With VEASAN Pro, you'll receive daily picks straight to your inbox, detailed analysis on every game, and exclusive data like our betting splits to help you become a sharper bettor. Get all of this for just $175
Dear John,
through the Super
I'm
Bowl.
leaving.
Or
uncontrolled high blood pressure is serious, and I can quit whenever I want. Why can't we get back to when you checked on me? I don't want to leave, but remember, when I quit, you quit. Sincerely, your heart.
Listen to your heart and don't let it quit on you. High blood pressure can lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range today. For help keeping yours at a healthy range, text PRESSURE to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association, the American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio. Take one.
Behold the angry giant.
Try it again, Alberto.
Behold the angry giant.
Perfect. Good luck tonight.
Behold the angry giant.
Yay! Read me another one, Dad.
This is WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
It may be hard to believe, but people just like you are already saving money. FeedThePig.org makes it easy. Their simple savings plan teaches you how to start saving without going overboard, so you don't need to sell all your belongings and live in a commune.
These dungarees belong to all of us now, Tom.
You don't need to get a second job as a stuntman.
We need a new stuntman!
You just need FeedThePig.org. Don't get left behind. Get tips and tools at FeedThePig.org. Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
This is Everett Fitzhugh, the radio voice of the NHL Seattle Kraken. And when I want to catch up with Youngstown sports, I tune in to Western Reserve Radio, WRDB, The Scourge.
Today, the 1, 2, 3 of the draft is increasingly firm per sources. Jabari Smith to Orlando, Chet Holmgren to Oklahoma City, and Paolo Banchero to Houston. At that point, all hell broke loose with the NBA draft betting numbers. Jabari Smith moved to like minus 10,000 to become the first overall pick. Banchero was ballooned up to a huge number at that point. And this was after like 4 or 5 days of hearing more and more people suggest that Banchero might be the guy to go number one overall. But this guy has been so dialed in for so long that for an entire day, like 12 hours before the draft, he dictated what the markets were showing you from a betting standpoint and who was going to go number one because of that one tweet. Mm-hmm. And today, the great Adrian Wojnarowski said, I'm done reporting on this sport.
Yep.
How about that?
His last Woj bomb. Incredible. He would also show off on draft day and tell you every pick, who every team was taking 2-3 minutes before the pick was in, and get every single one right. And he goes back to his alma mater to be the GM with the Bonnies and see if he can get him into the tournament. And so on ESPN, it was great. Reflecting on this, they brought on all their insiders, Adam Schefter, Pete Thamel, college football, and Jeff Passan, MLB. And Schefter said he wanted his life back, and he would know. He didn't want to have to work on holidays. He didn't want to have to be away from family gatherings. He didn't want to have to take a shower with your phone up against the shower door so you can see a text that's coming in, or take your phone with you to the urinal and hold it in one hand while you take care of your business in the other. That's the life that we have and live. And he's right, because you have to be first. You got to get this breaking news that's competitive. You got Shams, you got that battle, and you have to get it right and get information before everyone with the sources. Right. And that's incredible. Yep. And also the screen time. I mean, they showed it too, where during like the free agency and stuff, Shams was on like 19 hours of screen time.
That's right.
What he was doing per day.
By the way, that Woj bomb about the 22 draft, like the only thing he's ever gotten wrong.
Yeah, right.
Per his sources, what they were telling him, that was the only one. But he was so good at his job that tells you everything. That as soon as he said that, bam, the bomb comes in, it's going to happen, and it didn't because everything else was so concrete. I don't blame the guy, right? Based on what you just said from Adam Schefter. It makes sense. During the season, he has no time to breathe. He can't do anything that he wants.
Well, the NBA has also become the NFL.
Pretty much.
It's nonstop with the news.
Yep.
Between free agency and trade deadline, and there's only like two months downtime.
Yep.
What the guy has.
So I've never met Woj, but I think this
good guy.
You met him?
Yes.
Oh, very cool. Okay.
Paid for a beer. Yep.
Where was that at?
That was at the Wynn. I was with Stanford Steve. And I know our former buddy Rick Jaffe hired Woj at Fox. So I had to lead him.
Oh, very nice.
With the Jaffe connection. Absolutely.
Here's the ultimate compliment I could ever give somebody in his field. To me, the NBA got a little bit less interesting today. That's how good the guy was at his job.
Mm-hmm.
He was number one of the bullet. It's the same thing. I said this with the NFL when Peter King retired. Peter King was, without question, the best NFL writer in the entire country. Nobody was even close to him for a long, long time. His Monday morning quarterback column, and then what it turned into for, 20 years. And he did it for way longer than that.
Must read.
It was every single, either Sunday night or Monday morning, you had to read Peter King. And when he retired, I'm like, wow, that really hurts. Who's going to replace him? Now, I know other guys are really good at breaking news, but this guy was just elite and as good as, he went on as good of a run as a reporter can go on for how long? He goes all the way back to Yahoo. I was reading him then. Like what internet days we're talking about now. I know he's been around for a lot longer than that. I think the whole run was 37 years overall. But in this modern day with technology, he was incredible when he was at Yahoo. And so I thought that's how a Hall of Famer with, no question about it.
Well said too. You're going to miss the Woj bombs.
Yeah.
How big that was. Absolutely. So good luck to him with St. Bonnie's.
Yep. Hope he can get him in the tournament on a consistent basis. Uh-huh. Other numbers that we have here with Week 3 in the National Football League. Let me run the rest of this list down. Teams that are 0-2 against teams 1-1. The 0-2 teams 35-15-1 ATS in Week 3 since 2010. That's 70%. We told you about the Colts, the Giants, the Titans, also Carolina, Baltimore, the Rams, and Cincinnati. I don't know if I can get there with the Rams, even though they're at home in the division against the 49ers, and the 49ers have injuries. The Rams, just everybody's banged up.
No Puka, no Cup. All the O-line guys are hurt. You got injuries on the defense. You're 28th in run block, last in pass blocking, and you've allowed the second most pressures. And the Niners are going to be in a foul mood. And it's going to be all 49er fans.
Yes.
And Shanahan owns McVay. So there you have all that. Not good. Going to be a tough season. So much so that I like the internet conjecture from former NFL quarterbacks saying, how about Stafford to the Dolphins? mean, let's do something here.
Wow.
They don't have any picks. Why not?
No, I know.
Let's make a move here. Because I don't know what Tua, forget about this year. What's Tua's career look like moving forward? I still have a ton of weapons in Miami. Yeah, let's make a deal. Well, Monty Hall here. Let's get something done.
And this was the bad part, I guess. It's coming back now, maybe a little bit after the fact, but when the Rams gave up all their first-round picks for like a decade straight, and they signed all their top star players to huge contracts, the thought was, well, if those guys go down with injury, they're not going to have any depth, and they're going to be completely killing themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now, like guys like Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald no longer on the team, but look at the depth here now.
If you don't have Puka and Kupp, you don't stand a chance with all that offensive line. How bad the numbers are, and you're going to be 0-3. So, absolutely. The other thing is, side and total and all that. Well, there's so many things to bet on. It's just incredible. We've talked about the kicking stuff, the kickoff stuff, and how bad the quarterback play has been. 17 of the 64 quarterbacks, only 17 have gone over the 1.5 touchdown prop. Think about that. Everyone's staying under, and no one can even throw 2 touchdowns in a game.
Yep.
Some of them are heavily juiced, depending on the quarterback. That's another way to attack this as well, with how it's, again, run, and teams averaging 125 on the ground per game, most through 2 weeks since 1983. Think about it.
So we have a former guest who's been on the show a long time ago. He does this every single year during the NFL. He bets every single wide receiver season-long receiving yards prop under. And it's been a winning proposition around 60%. I think some years higher than that. This year, off to an amazing start. We don't have as many books that are going to offer like the best numbers on wide receivers, so it's something you got to make a drive to Arizona. However, I wish I would have tailed them by doing the quarterbacks this year. How is that looking? If you have, I know it's only 2 weeks, things can change here, but if you just blindly bet the best number that you could find on every quarterback passing yard prop under for the entire year, you're off to a smoking hot start. Not going to win all of them, but you're on pace right now to really look good at the end of the year. The defenses have changed. The too high look with the safeties, containing quarterbacks from throwing the ball deep down the field, more dink and dunk. These are rookie quarterbacks. And, oh, by the way, like nobody playing in the preseason, all of this combined, and you're not going to be ready until maybe week 3 or week 4. You're kind of behind the 8 ball here, big time. It all adds up.
Yeah. Bad O-line, injuries, holdouts, contract mess, all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And that's why dogs 6+ or more points or more, 8-0 ATS. Been the story the first 2 weeks also.
Here's another week 3 betting system from Steve Mackinnon at vsin.com. Winless teams are 20, 35, and 1 straight up, but 64.3% in week 3. Playing as an underdog of 3.5 points or more since 2010. So ATS we're talking about here. And the teams in that spot this week are the Giants catching 6.5, Carolina plus 5.5, and the Rams catching 7 against the 49ers. I just...
you will see a completely different Carolina team. And it's a letdown spot for the Raiders.
I think we're going to see maybe bombs away here with Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate this year, and we say this every season, but man, 2 weeks in, the amount of injuries we've had, the big names, the multiple guys on the same team, those are killer losses.
Mm-hmm. Make the case for the Giants? Plus 6.5 based on what's happened so far?
I mean, maybe.
And it's 8-0, right? And you're looking at that 5.5 number. The only team to lose there is Carolina.
I don't want to lay it with the Browns. I know that.
Yeah, right. And you got to respect what's going on here with the dogs. Incredible. No one knows football like VSiN. For a limited time, get your first month VSiN Pro, $9.99. Every best bet, every host, every guest, win percentage, ROI. Who has the hot hand? 19 hours of live programming. The betting system's up there. Adam Shine with his week 3 picks and looks as well. The betting splits, monthly subscription, first month $9.99. Or the entire season through the Super Bowl 175. Limited time offers, vsin.com/subscribe, 175 through the football season, or $9.99 for a month. vsin.com/subscribe.
You won't believe some of the feedback I've heard on Survivor contests across the country on how many entries were in it to begin and how many they're down to already.
I saw the tweet on DK. DraftKings was 76,000. It's down to 18.
Oh, I'll share some others that'll make your head spin coming up next. Paul has win-lose. And after an 0-4 start to the season, he's now 9-0-6 in the last 15 first 5 bets. Details on that coming up on VSiN.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Diego.
Hi, Diego. It's Jennifer Coolidge. I just want to say your cashback match makes me feel so special. It really inspired me.
That's great. Doubling the cashback you've earned at the end of your first year is what we do.
Well, I'm doubling everything now. Double dating, double dipping, double feature, double header, double whammy. Basically double or nothing.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
I'd rather ride a bike with my kids.
Faster!
I'd rather play catch with my dog than catch pneumococcal pneumonia.
Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20 pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a Pfizer vaccine that can help protect against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. If you are 19 or older with certain chronic conditions like heart disease or asthma, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets, and they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard, that's optional. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Allison is perfect. I mean, she'd never tell you that. She's humble and perfect. She likes everyone. She even likes her untidy roommate's weird guinea pig. Allison, wait, are you texting and driving? Allison, no. That's the exact opposite of what I was just saying about you. Why, Allison? Why? Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
This is Everett Fitzhugh, the radio voice of the NHL Seattle Kraken, and you're listening to the home of the Youngstown Phantoms, Western Reserve Radio.
Most runs, Rangers 30-1. They scored 13. Dogs went 8-7 yesterday, straight up in MLB. WNBA, favorites went 4-1 ATS. The Liberty, from 8.5 up to 10. Beat the Mystics by 16 and clinched the 1 seed. The Aces, 5.5 up to 8. Pounded the Storm. The Dream, No Reese, no Cardasco, no Carter. The Dream from 5.5 up to 11.5. Beat the Sky by 16.
Well, it turned out that was a dream come true.
That's right. And a 3-way tie for the 8 seed with 1 game left. We have a situation here, too. Tomorrow, the Fever play. Their win total opened 21 and closed 18. They have 20 wins. They are underdogs tomorrow as well. Favorites in the Champions League went 6-0 also. Subscribe, be part of the team, vsin.com. Our radio and podcast friends. You always want to see these tweets and videos that Paulie Does Vegas on Instagram. Send it in, we'll put you on. This happened to Mitch years ago. This is Lake Tahoe. Look at the bear just getting on the beach here. Hey, guys, what's up? Mitch, and you're hanging out, and the big fella just going walking in? Yeah, what about it? He's just walking around? He goes in for a little cool off, go for a swim, then he walks on the beach in front of everybody, going for a stroll. You were out there when you saw the Cubs with him. They were walking in, he took his 3 or 4 Cubs, and they walked in the water.
I also was driving on one of the roads going around Tahoe probably 10 years ago, and it crossed right behind me. I look back in the rear view, and I'm like, what on earth is that? I had to stop. Everybody else did. It was a massive black bear going across the highway. They're all over the place out there.
Look at that. Just walking in on the beach.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, hey, guys, cool off here. Got to beat the heat. That's great. Boy, things have changed. I mean, you got the internet now, all your video games, and when we were growing up 3-4 years old, what passed for entertainment for us was Hungry Hippos. Here's the Husky with Hungry Hippos. Give me that. And he beats the people in the game. He just eats all the food, and he can't get the Hungry Hippos in there to get there, and the Husky takes all the food.
Hungry Husky.
Yeah, how bad was it? Late 70s, early 80s.